Welcome back to Business Office Specialist. In today's video, we're going to look at how to create tables inside of Google Docs. Now, normally when we're working with tables, we'll use a spreadsheet software like Google Sheets, but sometimes it's handy to have a small table built into a document to organize and display information a little bit easier. So we'll learn to do that today. We'll also look at how to create hyperlinks, which are small links in your documents where you can click on the text and it will take you out to a different web page. So the first thing I would like to do with this document today is create a table. Because we are creating something, we're going to be going to the Insert tab. Pretty much anytime you create something in Google Docs, you'll usually find it in the Insert tab. So since we're inserting a table, we'll go to the Insert tab. If I click on Insert, the second option down is Table, and then it's going to give me this grid. The grid is there to visualize the size of the table that you want to create. So in this case, for today's activity, we're going to create a table that is 3 columns across and 12 rows down. So I'm going to just hover my mouse over this grid, and you can see that the table I'm going to build starts to turn blue so that I can see what size it is. Now you can see I don't have enough rows to go all the way to 12, but as I hover down, when I run out of room, it's going to automatically create a new row for me. So I'm just going to keep going down until I get to 3 by 12. That's the size of table I want to create today. So if I click on that, it generates a table. So this is what a table looks like. It's made up of individual cells that are organized in vertical columns and horizontal rows. If I want to navigate around the table, I can click on different cells, but I can also use the Tab key on my keyboard next to Q to move one cell to the right. And I can, when I run out of room on a row, if I hit Tab again, it will navigate to the second row. So that's an easy way to move from cell to cell when you're typing information into your table. Now, what I'd like to do first with this table is dump our information into it so that we can use it. For our table today, we're talking about Utah universities and highlighting those universities. This could be a great poster for a high school or something like that. So the first column, I want to be the names of the college or university we're talking about. In the second column, I'd like to put the university's logo. And in the third column, I'd like to put our hyperlink out to the university's main webpage. So what I'm going to do now is quickly type in all of the universities and colleges we're going to talk about today. And then if you want to pause the video, you can type it into yours as well and catch up to where I'm at. But when you're finished, I'd like your table filled out like mine. All right, so now I have all of the universities typed in. Again, if you need to pause it to get yours typed in, go ahead and do that, and then you can continue on with me. So the next thing I'd like to do with this is work with the headings or titles at the top of each column. Because these describe what it follows in the rest of the column, I want those to really stand out. So let's select that top row and edit the text to make it kind of stand out against the rest of the text in the table. The easiest way to highlight individual cells or rows or columns in a table is to click and drag. So if I click on the very first cell where it says college and university, and I hold my mouse down and drag across, it's going to highlight or select all of the cells that I move my mouse across. So by clicking and dragging across the top row, I can select the entire top row and edit all of the text there at once. And you know it's selected because it's highlighted in blue. So now that I have the top row text selected, let's make it bold. So I'm going to come up to my ribbon and select the bold icon. And let's change the alignment. So I'll go over to the alignment icon. Let's center that text. That's looking a lot better already. I'd also like the title to be just a little bigger so that it stands out and kind of identifies itself as a column title. So we'll go to font size and let's make it 14. Perfect. So now I have some good titles to work with. You know, the interesting thing, though, is we don't have a title for the table itself. Oftentimes, when you're dealing with tables of data in a document, it's nice to put a title above the table that helps identify what this information is all about. I didn't leave enough room to do that, though, so let's add a new row right above college or university. So let's add a new row right above this title row we just finished editing. So the easiest way to do that is to click your mouse wherever you would like to add the row, and then you can either right-click and see the table editing options here, or you can also go to Format, down to Table, and you'll see those same options in that menu. So both of them show the exact same options, whatever's most convenient for you. Since I'm here, I'm going to use the Format menu. And we want to insert a row. We can either insert a row above where my mouse is located or below where my mouse is located. Since we clicked on the column titles, we want the table title to be above that. So we're going to insert a row above that row. And now I could type my title in here. The problem is I still have 3 different columns. And this title is for the table as a whole. I kind of like it to evenly spread out across the entire table. So the easiest way for us to do that is to take all 3 of these cells and kind of squash them together and make one big cell. In the table world, we call that merging. You can kind of think of it like when you merge onto a freeway. So when you're driving a car and you're merging onto a freeway, we call it merging because you have 2 lanes, your on-ramp lane and the freeway lane, and they come together and get combined into one. So the concept of merging is anytime you take 2 things and you combine them into one. So what we're going to do is take all 3 of these cells and combine them into one big cell. So if I click and drag again, I'm going to highlight all 3 of these cells, and then from the same menu, again, either right-clicking and scrolling down, or going to Format, Table, and scrolling down, you should see an option that says Merge Cells. When I click on that, the lines for the individual cells disappear, and now this becomes one gigantic cell. Now, as I start typing in this cell, you'll notice that the formatting for this cell looks identical to the titles for the individual column headings that we just finished creating below. That's because when you create a new cell, it will inherit whatever formatting was in the cell that your mouse was on when you clicked to add the new row or columns. So since we had our mouse on college or university when we added the new row, all of the editing and formatting for that new row inherited the editing and formatting from the college or university cell. So let's call the title of this table Utah Colleges and Universities. Awesome. So now we have a title at the very top and we have the individual titles. Now the title at the very top doesn't really stand out because it's the exact same size as everything else below it. So let's highlight that text and make this cell just a little bit bigger. Let's make it a size 18. Then it stands out just a bit more as being our table title. Awesome. So now let's work with the individual universities themselves. I want to start with Utah State University. I'm going to highlight that cell, again by clicking and dragging. And with the entire cell highlighted, let's bold Utah State University. We're not going to change its size or anything. We don't want it to get lost with the titles. We just want to bold it. Now I'd like to do the same thing with every single university in here. And I could just highlight and bold, highlight and bold, highlight and bold, but that's going to take a long time to go through all 12 rows. So there is a faster way for us to do that. It's called the Format Painter. Format Painter is a tool that allows us to basically copy and paste, but just the formatting. So whenever you press Control-C and copy something, you are copying not only the formatting but the text as well. If you use the format painter, it will copy all of the formatting, but then apply that to whatever text you highlight next. So let's try that. In Google Docs, the format painter looks like a paint roller. It's located right here on the ribbon next to the spell checker. If you use something like Microsoft Word, it looks like a paintbrush, but the concept is still the same. So I'm going to click on the format painter, and what that does is copy the formatting of whatever I have currently selected. So since I've selected Utah State University, that formatting of being bold has been copied. Now you can see that my mouse has changed to include a roller next to it. That's telling me that I'm currently copying and holding the formatting of Utah State University, and as soon as I select anything, it's going to paste that formatting to whatever I select. So let's select Weber State University all the way down to Western Governors, and when I release my mouse, it automatically pastes the formatting from Utah State University to the other cells. So especially when you're working with tables and you're repeating formatting across a large area, the format painter can be a very useful tool to work with. All right, so that's all I want to do with the text right now. Let's start working on logos. So I'm going to click on the cell next to Utah State University, and let's see if we can find a logo for that university. The easiest way to do that is just to do a Google search. So I'm going to open a new tab up at the top, go to Google, and just search for Utah State University. Now, if I'm looking for a logo specifically, we have these different search options up at the top. I'm going to click on the image option and look at just pictures. If I scroll down here, here is a great picture of the Utah State University logo. And it's got the little squares behind it, which tells me it's a transparent background, so that's even nicer. Now, to get this back into our Google Doc, the easiest way to do that is to right-click the image and then select Copy Image. Now I've copied that image into my clipboard. If I click on the tab at the top to go back to my document and make sure I'm clicking in this cell where I want to paste it, then I can either right-click and paste it or use the shortcut Control-V. Awesome, so now I have that logo pasted into my table. The next thing I'd like to do is update the link. So remember, a hyperlink is a text that when you click on it will take you out to another website. What I'd like this link to do is to take us to Utah State University's main website. So if I come back to my Google search, I'm going to come to the top and return back to our full search. So I'm going to click all, and now I can see the entire search results for Utah State University. The top search result is usually going to be the university's main website. Off to the right-hand side, Google's pulled out that information for Utah State University and also has a link to the website. So whatever you want to do, I'm going to click on this one here because that is the usu.edu main website. So click on the link, make sure it is the right website you want to go to, and then up at the very top in the address bar is the website. So I'm going to select that and click Control-C to copy it. Come back to my page, and we're going to create a link. Now, the hyperlink icon is also on the ribbon. It is located right here next to your text editing options. So if I click on Insert Link, it inserts link. No, just kidding. That's better. So when you click on that link icon, it should take you to a pop-up box that has two options, text and link. So in the text box, we're going to want to write the text that your users are going to see and click on to get out to the link. So usually this text will explain where they're going when they click on it. So let's write the name of the university. and then add the word website on the end of it. Then in the link section, we're going to put the link that we copied from our Google search. So Control V to paste, and we should paste in that hyperlink from the university's website. When you click Apply, it will add that text, and it will usually make it underlined and colored so that it indicates to the user that it is a hyperlink that they can click on. So now if I click on that hyperlink, it shows me an option of where we're going. If I click on that, it will take me out to the website. So you'll want to test each of your links to make sure that they're really going where you want them to go. So I've created the first logo and link for Utah State University. What I'd like you to do is practice doing this by going through and searching for the logos and links for each of the other universities and pasting them into the table below. One last thing I'd like to do, though, is look at a footer. So in one of our previous assignments, we explored how to use a header. And remember, the header is the white space in the margin up at the top of the page. And we explained then that a footer is the white space down at the bottom of the page. Just like your head is at the top of your body and your foot is at the bottom of the body. You've got the header at the top and the footer at the bottom. Just like with a header, if you want to access the footer, you come down to the white space or margin at the very bottom of the page, double-click on that, and it will open up your footer for you. So in the footer, I would like to just type in the text, schools are listed in order from the northernmost school to the southernmost school. And I'd like that to be center aligned. So I'm going to come up to my alignments and center align that. And then to leave the footer, you just click once in the main body of the document and you leave the footer and go back to the rest of it. So again, I have given you an example for Utah State University. Now what I'd like you to do is complete Weber State down to Western Governors University, find logos for each of them in a Google search, find their main website, and paste those in the right column as links, just like we did with Utah State University. Go ahead and practice that, and then when you're finished, you'll have a strong understanding of how to create and use tables and how to create hyperlinks that you can put into your documents.
To learn more tools and features in the Google Suite family of apps, check out more of my videos on YouTube or visit ToriNorman.com.